Usually yeah, okay, now it's recording. Okay, hey, Mayor Baba, welcome to Mayor Baba's Blue Bus Mystical Language Tour. And just a quick announcement, on April 26th, we're going to have an event at the Circle, which will also be Zoomed. And it's a celebration of Avatar Mayor Baba completing Mononash for the benefit of the West. Baba, which I think it's already been mentioned, certainly on February 6th when we celebrated the beginning of his life messages. But Baba wanted to be in seclusion for the first 2 weeks when he came to Myrtle Beach in order to complete Mononash for the benefit of the West. So the event is going to be a presentation on the kind of introductory remarks about the background, and then a discussion including readings and source materials that people can bring to it, because it's a topic that really hasn't been addressed too much, and there's a lot of valuable information in it. So that'll be the 26th Saturday from 1 to 3:30 and it'll be Zoomed or in person. Okay, so today we are going to be reading My Life in Baba. I'm just going to share it. You want me to start? So we will start without further ado. My Life in Baba. Sri Mayor Baba is donation perpetual of truth and grace. To say this, one has to know within the significance of the act of grace. Grace is personification of life real, doing in us truth as real experience. Grace is new wonder in us in experience. Grace is what is unconscious in us, having become conscious. Grace is perpetual time-making fact, ordering conscience, making in us new the state real, established since one is in search of one as God. So it is in us grace that what he in us is operating for use unselfish. It is grace when he sends in us good will to make good for some ill. It is grace when he in us does good to compare with the past bad condition. He is reaction in perpetual divine grace in every moment of our life. It is grace that he is descended to live in us, to live in us anew the old one as truth. He has to be the realized, established show of truth in human form in order to give us life, in order to have life in him, and in order to make us know him, what he as mind in universe is, what he designs in reaction infinite. How do I or you know what is real, pure good, if we find in reaction, in opposition, the relative state that is in no way pure? How do we see from A to B, from B to C, without some other view ahead, which is deep and new, which is free in us to give us high order to personify? What is to personify? What is not to realize? What is to give in? Is it to make in giving in new the old state in ignorance? It is to live in us anew the phase we have passed through in order to earn the next one that we have to realize. It is exactly so. We have to see, grow, form, earn, and fulfill throughout phases in mind, in I, as use individual and unconscious, till we become conscious in Him. Sri Meher Baba is here to give the impulse to win over the old self state, selfish, in continuous show, in reaction, in controversy.
We must win. We need to win, and we shall win. But how? By being in us new, by being in us fearless, by being without prejudice, by being impersonal. What we know has to bring in the lived and realized new earning. We have to realize again the fact of us being one. It is a small life as human being that experiences creating the external reaction. The divine life that is in him is the fulfilled state realized. What we consciously see, know, and win, we in him see, realize to the paramount point of truth in fulfillment. One needs the Jesus, the pure one, the living example, the Christ personified, to be able to see on the way. To one, the way is hard and it is unconscious strife, but in him resigned, it is light in self-state of being, that is knowing. One feels free, one is fearless and unconditional in determination. Why? Because he is in it, the directing will, the leading sign in being in him as life unselfish. He, the being, he being truth personified. It is easy to make use of the progressing, advancing, realizing order in us in conscience. One feels certain in him as his own subject in obedient realizing action. One is real in doing any order of reaction, as in it he is truth. He, as the selfless state realized, is the pure one. He, as divine I, infinite, is real life. One is sure of seeing in him the way, bring on the fruit of all efforts and the new reacting results. It is far to say that he is one, I, God. How do I know him to be one, I, God? I am knowing in me of truth. I am seeing in me him as truth, as Jesus, who was in me life realized as fact. I know in me him as Krishna, as in him I was in being in I, as truth part of him, of truth, at his life's time as Krishna. I see him as Muhammad, as I, as truth, as God's one, because in me he is one truth form that in being is the established, realized state infinite. We as his disciples, as his surrendered life, know, see, feel in us him as the one, as the I infinite. He is personification of life as truth, as he is the being in all. This is in all who know, see, feel real experience in existence infinite. Sri Meher Baba is to our life infinite, I divine. He is faith, state, real in us. He is as truth, state, real in us, the one. One is truth. One is faith, state of real realized expansion in selfless design. Life is dedication perpetual to God, if in oneness experienced. The one is dedication infinite in our life as one, as part of him who is pure all one. To see this, one is giving in one's own I as life in experience. In other words, one is abstinent of the self state in reaction. To see this, one is in him resigned in every hour of one's own external and individual life. One has no life for one's own use. One lives, one does, one creates, one reacts as he wishes. One is active when he designs. One is abstinent of the use of one's own I for use to him. It means to disregard the experience for self-use in us. It means to resign the use selfish of one's own I. This state, temporary in realizing reaction, resigned in him, furthers our intuitive understanding. We realize more and further.
Life in love infinite, in him resigned, shall make in us the wonder of realization that will create us anew as human creature. We shall live the new order of life in universal self-use in us, in love unselfish. To love on our way, new, is to love unselfish. To love on our way, real, is to love unselfish. To live in him, in one, in all, in any, is to see, to know, to feel in all life, the one all way as life one. It is to see, to know, to feel, and practice one all, one I, as use unselfish. He shall present in us renew the old spiritual theme of life, that is to live for others. We shall be made able to live a life real when in Him we shall consume, do, and undo our own life for use general. We shall bring in us the fruit of the common work of truth. We shall all earn in mutual way the divine eye's life general. To love is for general benefit. To love is commonwealth. To love is compassion as pure understanding. To love is creation, grace, infinite. He is winning in us, He winning in us over the selfish state in ignorance finite, will realize in us the divine life infinite. Revived in all shall be the real religious experience of pure faith that is free, unconditional, true, that is order in us to see in us God's life in use unselfish. One in all shall we bring in new the divine theme of our oneness work in life. That is to live in Him unprejudiced, unattached, free. We shall earn to realize in opposition and reaction the impersonal I in use and fulfill the real state in being that is peace. All shall be new when He in us, winning in real human order in our own life and conscience, shall arise new as state in being that is real as human life. We shall in us see, know, find the truth state established that is our infinite I, the portion in us that is indivisible in I of Him divine. Real and unself-conscious, simple, natural, good, unconditional in self-use, unselfish, shall we realize the new dispensation. This wonder of life real is in perpetual unfolding, our life here in experience. It is speaking in us anew. Life in intuition is speaking in the truth. We, as His subjects, do experience life as reaction infinite anew. It is here in us, as the ordinary human sinner, that the divine life infinite is speaking.
Sri Meher Baba in me is life in pure intuition. He is me in intuition infinite, giving in me truth as scient order in conscience. Sri Meher Baba is in me in being, in action infinite, the impersonal life. He speaks, I am here to give new life infinite. I am here to sow in you truth infinite experience. I am here to live in man the divine I in use in intuition. I am here mind, one, I, truth, to give in mind, one, I, life, as use infinite. I hear say, it is my one in I use in some of my own disciples. You, as my own disciple, are use of my one in I word as work infinite. Life is work of truth. One is work of truth. I is work of truth. I am in it, one all work of truth. This is to be shown to all who winning in I, so in I one. I am one, all, one, I, in use infinite, in mind infinite, of all who in me win in I, the use selfish. The evolutionary phase of the self-effect selfish is coming to its end. Mind as self-use individual has to resign. Mind has to win in the expansion in I infinite. Life as finite use has to realize in I infinite, its expansion infinite. Sri Meher Baba replies, this is and shall be when I shall live in mind in man, new in verb. Verb is life in love. Unconditional in all, that I in all shall awaken. It is to be soon. I here prepare the way in all who in me win the I infinite. It is to be seen, heard, and felt. It is to be real experience. It is to be truth form in all in ordering conscience. It is here on the earthly plane that it has to react. It is here in the plane of life and ignorance that I shall draw in mind, truth as state real. This I show here to them who owe to be my disciples by giving in them conscious realizing reaction. Life is as it is, one. Mind is as it is, one. Truth is as it is, one. Give in, bring in, resign. I in you shall earn in one, in all, new truth. This I hear say. I sign as Sri Meher Baba to signify its real worth. One is in him in love infinite, near to the oneness state infinite, established within since the dawn in creation. Love him more than your own self. Then life will be new. Then life shall be real. The general state of life in the world men have to endure. It is important to endure life as it is. It is important to resign to life as it is. One is important when one has resigned to life as it is. Being in itself and no more human practicant of life for use, selfish, one is important as the fulfilling life within. To live is to experience and to over experience the divine life in ignorance. It is more than important to see and to realize the use infinite of the passing phase of life that is inevitable. One is indivisible life in intuition, reaction, infinite. And one is individual self-act in separate order, in winning will, in I as ego. One is self-act infinite as I, as ego for use of truth. All in one. One is use for use divine. In truth, reaction in being as the show established within. One is conscious reaction of life infinite. One is divine order of life infinite in use of its use as individual. And one is true conscious free mind when in use of its I unselfish. All is sure and true. All is sure and new and true in us when we realize life real. Man is unsatisfied and unconscious in I selfish.
As use in I, one is divine in use. In mind infinite in use, finite men will be free of fear, free of prejudice, free of divine aim, free in the impure play in opposites, free of life as indivisible or as individual order within. In him, the beloved in us, in I infinite, we become winning order of him. In him, we become unself-conscious of our own values, unself-active in our own I as ego, that is creation play in use of him. Imperishable existence in all is he. He as man, as Sri Meher Baba, is free, unself-conscious in him as life, as I, as self, as one, as truth form. He is the magic order in us. His will in us is command. He is unconscious reaction in most human creatures, as in most men is the one as portion infinite, a state in deep, unfathomable reaction of which they owe no cognition. Man is ignorant of himself as one. Sri Meher Baba as the one all one I as use, in use, is controlling the oneness strife in us that is our life in use ordinary and extraordinary. The apparent act external of him doing and undoing is real in order and in use. He can create us one at will. He, conscious in us, does in us act at will in every situation in life. We have no real free will. It is due to self-realizing as act conscious in us, in the self state in self-delusion, to think that one acts of one's own volition. We as I, as use infinite, know to be free in being and bound in I as reaction order infinite. But we realize that we sow in us one all, one life, and that is inseparable life in being as love. The inseparable life we sow in wise ways of living, in wise ways of being. It is inseparable in its own creation show as life of love. We in our own man know that we owe to be happy in being. Beingness is love. It is life infinite in one all-being order.
All in us is indication of this non-break in being. It is unfathomable experience in us of truth. All in us is living and being in one all use. One is in appearance I, in separate order in experience, and in the deep of our own unfathomable I infinite, unself-conscious, one is the divine life that is unconscious, unrevealed, but sure knowing state which he in us shall realize. It is in this half-life in realized order that one is real and false and good and bad in one. The real indivisible idea of our one as portion in I, as life infinite, is to know in our one in I infinite, that one is infinite, that one is real. To say it and think it is one way to realize it. And to say that it has been as it is to have the experience in us of life infinite.
To believe that one is free in winning will is illusion. To think that one is free in I infinite in being, to create the idea of life as free choice in real order in mind infinite, is absolutely an ordinary era of life in ignorance. One is in no way free. One is in any way, in all ways, bound to reaction infinite. In finite I, one is bound to life in realizing order in reaction. One is free of life in use of life. One is free of use in I in finite reaction when surrendered to him for use of him. To live in him in use in I, as use of him in us divine, is to realize that one is in him, the reaction infinite, and in the reaction infinite, one is free, in winning order in I, as use infinite. Being in us free, to live free, to die free, to be born in our own I infinite, is to have in our own mind the divine I in use. The illusion infinite is the same illusion finite as act, as fact of realized order in I. It is of no use to find a way to react in us beyond. One is in self-action, in delusion, a mere fool of life that in use, in finite reaction, thinks of himself to be use of himself as use selfish. We owe to be so, to make it so, and to appear so, to self-use. But we in us owe in deep unfathomable life unrealized, the real life, the good life, the pure life, that is unconditional use of truth as Him. That oneness act of being, Sri Meher Baba has to stir in us. He in us is order and divine use, free in one all, one expansion infinite. This oneness work in us we realize in real design unselfish, when we in Him see the divine life react in us unselfish. To understand Sri Meher Baba, one has to realize that He is infinite and finite in one. The divine theme must be in us a fact that we experience. It is individual adjusting in all who in Him resign. One has to be subconsciously adjust. One has to subconsciously adjust and in subtle I order and in I infinite give in for use of Him. It means to live life as use infinite instead of as use finite, personal, individual. It means to have a more unselfish outlook. It means to react more universally. It is to give in all and to react in all. As use in all, in any, it is to serve unselfishly.
Unselfish life is practical. The conditions of life shall appear the same, but shall be in substance one. Life winning in substantial order within shall do in undoing the same one work in expansion in consciousness. And life external shall appear different. Life real shall appear new in us, and life ordinary shall appear new, as new is all that is new in us in experience. All is experience. The divine I is the experience of life infinite in us in love infinite. One is in self-use, in illusion, any or all. One is I. One is truth. One is God. So one is one, all one, use infinite for use infinite. The divine life that in us is still illusion. He in us shall stabilize into a state real as experience. It is to be so, as it is so as he who is the personified order in being, as life real, as perfect human creature, the one as portion infinite, in us is state infinite in illusion, and in him is realized order in I as love, one, the all indivisible expansion of life, real, good, unselfish, real one. It is this deep state infinite, in us portion infinite, that he has to realize, to make in us new the old theme. The old theme is to grow in us truth, one. He, the beloved, he is the realizing order infinite that in us is superior to any order in conscience. One has to want to pursue one's one in all I as expansion infinite in conscious life, and realize in one's one the new life as new human. The new life is no more adventure. It is fulfillment real of what seems futile and unreal. It is making new what in us is auto act of non-realized order in self-state unreal. We earn to see in us life real. We earn to see in us mind as use of truth. We realize oneness as finite use of use infinite. We resign free to win in free, unself-reactive, for use selfish, all reactions. He is as he is. He is what he does. He in me is life real, that in perpetual reaction is fulfilling my one in I life that is infinite. I see, know, feel, in him resign the work of truth, grow in reaction in all. To give, to live, to know, to feel is more of use than to think life must be lived in one all finite show, infinite in harmony infinite. It is oneness life that we realize in our own small I. The real realized state is wonder state in us, that he in us shall win as life real. Oneness is rest in being. To live in him, for him, is to live in him, for him, in one. This I know, see, and find in my oneness way in him. It is more or less infinite joy. It is more or less divine life infinite. It is oneness state real in love for him. It is self-delusion work of oneness in perpetual realizing reaction, till in him one is submerged, no one, but all one in him. We need to evolve. We have to surpass the phase in reaction selfish. It is indivisible life, indivisible good, real being, expansion in knowing, and in self-use infinite. It is being order. This being order is good. It is selfless good, being order, that in use infinite is giving to I new real life. That what we know, winning in use unselfish, is to bring to real expansion in use in I, in head, the real oneness state in love. To love is to bring to full expansion in us truth. It is to make in us use of the divine I. As infinite I, it is to live in us free, to be free of fear, of prejudice, of pain, indivisible in use. We have to resign to the self state in reaction, in head, as imagination, and as self-use of intuition. We must give way to us as human aspirant of real life, and no more of the imaginary false I, the ego. To resign to one who is real is to resign in use infinite in us for use of him, the beloved, true, real one.
Sri Meher Baba speaks. Give me the plan of life real. Give me the game of life unreal. Give me the work of life infinite. Give me the passing design of you as woman in human strife. See no use in self for I, or in mind or in intellect, but in me as use of me. The way to know is one. The way to live is two. The way to react is two. The way to see in me the use infinite is all one, only use, and that is love. When I shall use the verb to resurrect mind in men and the divine I in mind in use of me, it is for use of my one in I life infinite, and that is now in preparation. I am here to give in you my newborn form, new real oneness expansion in love. To say it is to do it. This he in use in us is doing and in undoing in every phase, in every hour of life, by experience, by full life, in ordinary way of life, in being in it, use impersonal. We learn to give for use indivisible, real. What we do win in giving in us for use of him is to form new in use of I infinite, our one as I, as portion infinite. He in use in us is doing the speedy order to evolve. So we live here in youth infinite, in I indivisible, knew the reaction show of life as strife in use in him. We do in us realize use. It is life and real being state in one all way to react unself-reactive, unselfish. This is the most we as his oneness I in him resigned, oh, to see, to know, to feel, till he in use indivisible, one, helps us out of the new life in state, in self-state, in delusion real. Sri Meher Baba speaks, no one is real till in me resigned. No one is good till in me in self, in use infinite, real in being, in devotion infinite, real in I, in selfless service. So it is a game of I to realize in use of us, him. He in use in us is the new winning order to capitulate once more to truth. Sri Meher Baba here says, give in. I help you in giving in. Do more. I do in you the most. Give in. I in you triumph. Jai Meher Baba. Baba.
Okay. That was
That
literally
was
musical. Musical, I said. You guys
I'm glad it was music.
perfect.
It was that was powerful. Yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah, very powerful. There seems to be a lot of truth which we probably heard in different ways from Baba. And but I think there are some new things that one can absorb while reading this. Also, yeah, that's what I felt.
Yeah, it's yeah, Prakash. Do you not only in the items or the terms, but that emphasis on the source uh,
Right.
is it just has a uh, yeah feeling.
Mm. So
And
while reading, you guys must be really, really absorbed in that flow of
well,
thought that just
Prakash, we were thinking about that. The one thing that he said was you don't need to understand anything. You just
yeah.
need to read with reverence. And it's it is, it's, yeah, so reverence is just putting our sincere attention on it and it, and the vibration, the rhythm and vibration, which is essential in the language, is something that begins to get inculcated, I guess. I mean, just in the repetition of it. I was thinking, Shad, when you were talking of um, Peter,
Peter.
Peter's talk, that it's, he's talking about that's the quality of poetry, and particularly perfect master poetry, Hafez and Rumi, and
Yeah.
and and this. Yes, I will review that again because I was thinking this is an essential. I had this feeling it was like reading poetry. So if I don't understand anything or I kind of get, I just keep going with the rhythm,
Yeah,
because
that's a way to
thank
go.
God for punctuation,
but I think as you keep reading over and over, which I know you guys are doing, uh, and I think you'll develop, you get the sense of what is being read intuitively without even trying to, you
Yeah.
know, figure out each sentence and each word and how they're put together. All that becomes a little superfluous in the process. Yeah, so beautiful, so beautiful.
Yeah, we've been hearing it for years. We've been
I
meeting.
know,
Hearing-
I know.
Thing is,
Yeah,
only one time, it was like 3 or 4, it's 5 years now, uh, when the reading ended, I get this amazing thought that every cell in my body had been nourished. I mean, I
wow.
felt it like, wow, and that's, I don't think of myself as a bunch of cells walking around. So, I mean, it was not even my thought.
Well,
Yeah.
the other thing that's happening too is this dawning of the age of intuition, which I
Right.
think increasing is it's making these messages more and more accessible in our experience, I guess is what I'm saying. They're more
Yeah.
experiential and yeah.
Well, just like Baba said, avataric times are like springtide of creation, and things that are that were accessible only to, advanced souls are now accessible to everybody. So to that extent, it is there for asking anybody. Yeah.
There,
Yeah,
wa-
yeah,
there was a quote by Baba that I love from so long ago. It says, uh, the time is rapidly approaching when a tidal wave will rise up out of the ocean of grace.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
the usual process by which the waters in the rivers flow into the ocean will be reversed.
Yeah.
And that ocean water will rush through the riverbeds. We're like riverbeds. I see us as riverbeds, like we don't know what we can contain, but this
Yeah.
rush is proving us to be able to contain more, like
mm,
we don't have to. Uh, and I also feel that quotes I've heard for years and years have more meaning now because of this, somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yes.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, among all of the beautiful things that you shared, one phrase, the expansion in knowing, I somehow it caught my attention quite,
yeah, yeah.
quite a lot. And that's exactly what is happening. The expansion in knowing, though, which is not real, but it has to expand to its infinite state. So we can realize the true infinity, true
mm,
reality. Yeah.
And there is one line in this mystical writing that says, uh, this mystical language in I is in I, God as experience.
Mm.
It doesn't even
And
talk about,
and and
experience.
there was your favorite sentence in there, right?
yeah.
One
You can spot
rest
'em
in
all.
being. when you read that, I said, "Oh, it's Rosary," and you read it. You had a chance to read that.
I had, and I used to share on after RT, I would just share it because I just thought this is treasure. And I even had someone actually complain that I was sharing.
What is
It
that? Oneness is
complain.
rest in being.
Yeah,
I,
oneness is rest in being.
Yeah, yeah.
oh, that one people can tolerate. But I tell you, sometimes people react to it like I can't understand it. I just, whoa, whoa.
The other avenue too is this whole idea of the what I feel is this in Baba's timing, the m- mononash coming more and more to the fore, and because it was just totally unaware, even though Elizabeth got this letter saying Baba was going to complete Mononash for the benefit of the West in that first 2 weeks.
Mm.
I don't know whether
Yeah.
she didn't share it to anybody, but, and, you know, Mandali, Eastern or Western, you know, they don't think about things. They just do what Baba wants to do. But it just was not known. And one thing, there was another aspect of that, to that letter, Baba's response to Elizabeth, where he said, and I'm quoting from it, after these 2 weeks of seclusion, I shall see everyone everywhere, because eventually I shall have to go to the world. I will have to give to the world the results of my 4 months' work. So he did go, you know, he went on the Fiery Free Life, and, you know, he went on these tours, he contacted people in the West. But in terms of Mononash, you know, it just seems to give significance to that, that he's going to have to go to the whole world, to everyone, everywhere, you know, through this
Yeah. Yeah.
lifting of all boats, you know, through this age of intuition.